Hello, welcome back to this month's MARC storytelling calendar with the illustration done by the talented Sarah. And this month I will be telling a story about a heron. Quick side note, it is June and I run a storytelling club called A Sting in the Tail. And this month on Wednesday the 18th, we will be having Katie Corkwell come and perform doing her fabulous set of Tristan and Isolde. So if you're free, just a reminder to check out A Sting in the Tail on Facebook and Instagram and have a look for all our details there. Okay. 7 mountains from here and many moons ago, there was a lake. No, it was not a great lake by lake standards. It was reasonably small, quite shallow, but for all those that lived inside, it was a lovely lake. It was teeming with fish and with frogs. There were freshwater crabs. There were small birds that came to drink at the water's edge, and there was a heron who had lived there all his life. And when he was younger and strong, he would stand at the edge, perched tall and strike forwards, grabbing fish just here and there, enough to sate his appetite and no more. And all live in harmony and equality at the lake until, well, time passed and the heron grew old. Now when he tried to strike for the fish, he was too slow. His neck lunged forward and the fish could sense the shadow and swim out of the way. And the heron began to grow thin and sick and tired. Oh, his stomach growled and his wings were weak and he just couldn't catch any more fish. And nothing breeds innovation like desperation, like that hunger curdling in your stomach. And so the heron set to thinking. And then he had a plan. One day, the heron walked to the edge of the lake like he always would, and instead of trying to catch a fish, he went and stood at one corner, legs in the water, a brooding, sad look upon his face. And one by one, the fish and the frogs and the crabs, well, they started to notice. And they started to talk to each other. Do you see? He's not trying to catch us. What's going on? Someone should ask. He looks very upset. And so a fish swam up close and then a crab scuttled out onto the bank, said, "Excuse me, Uncle, what is the matter? You seem unhappy." And with a deep, sorrowful look in his eyes, the heron replied, "Oh, I am sad, my friends, because I have heard terrible news as I flew across this land. Nearby, the humans, they say, well, this lake, it is no good for being a lake. It is too small, it is too shallow, it might as well not have any fish at all. They're going to fill the lake full of earth and silt, and they're going to grow crops right across it." And the fish and the frogs and the crabs, they looked at each other and said, "Oh no, well, where are we going to live? Oh, we can't leave. Oh, this is awful." The heron, he said, "Well, I know, and I'm going to have to leave this lake that I've lived by all my life. I'm going to fly away across the mountain to a larger lake that I know of. There's other people there, I don't know, but I guess that's where I'm going to have to make my life." The fish, the frogs, they said, "A larger lake? It's not far." Said, "Now you come to mention it, I could take you, I guess. You could take us to the larger lake? Well, it's much deeper, so the humans are never going to build crops across it. That lake is going to remain a lake for generations to come." A larger lake? Could you take us there? Well, my beak is only so large. If I scoop it full of water, I could take maybe 2 or 3 of you in one go. And it's quite far, a day or so's flight, but I could fly there and back, and I'd need a day to rest, and then I could do the trip again. There are not too many of you in this pond. I think Within a month or so, I may be able to save you all, and that will be before the humans get here. You would do that for us? Oh, thank you, Uncle. Oh, he will save us. Please, yes. Oh, can I go first? Can I go first? And the fish began to swim in and out of each other in a frenzy, and the frogs hopped along the edge of the bank, and the crabs watched as the fish leapt me. The heron dipped his beak into the lake and held as much water as possible, and in hopped 1, 2, 3. 3 fish. And then the heron closed his beak, stretched its old wings and began to fly up from that pond, turn across the hill and fly away across the forest. To go to the new lake, of course. Well, of course not. Because there was no lake, or if there was, the heron was certainly not going to go there. He got partway across the forest and then he began to fly down towards a large rock. And inside his beak, the fish were getting excited. They were going to the new lake. And then the beak opened and they saw light and they leapt out into the new lake and landed on a cold, hard rock. And that was the last they knew. The heron, he emptied his beak of water, he picked clean at the bones, he ate his fill, he stretched and sunned himself. Ah, what a brilliant plan. The next day, he flew back to the pond, opened his beak, and in they jumped willingly. 1, 2, 3, again. He took off, flew, and landed by the rock. 1, 2, 3. The heron ate his fill. Before a week had passed, that groaning in his stomach had subsided. His wings felt stronger, more luscious, the feathers healthy and glistening under the sun. Every other day he flew back to the lake, opened his beaks, and 1, 2, 3, and away he flew. It was a small lake, and it was beginning to get emptier and emptier. The heron had never eaten so well. The population was rapidly depleting. This time, as the heron landed and the fish started leaping out of the water, "Oh, me next, please!" A crab scuttled across the bank, stretched out a claw, said, "Excuse me, Uncle, please. May I be next? I would like to see this new lake, and there are many of us to travel. The ecosystem here is changing. I would like to get to the lake next, please. I've waited my turn. I've waited long enough." And the heron, well, he'd getting rather sick of fish. He'd never thought that was possible, but he'd never eaten so well, and fish after fish after fish. Crab meat. That could make a nice change. He smiled, opening his beak wide. "Absolutely, it will be my pleasure. Step on board." And the crab, "Oh, I don't think there's really space for me in your beak. No offence, and it's very soft there. I don't wish to harm you and rip at your throat. Here, let me clamber onto your back." And so the crab scuttled up along one wing and settled in between the heron's shoulder blades, clipped carefully, gripping with one claw in the next, in between 2 quills, right at the base of the heron's neck. And the heron began to fly. The heron flew off, up and over across the forest, and no lake came in sight. The crab was able to see quite far, and still no lake. "Oh, are we nearly there? Which direction next?" The heron said, "Oh, can you not see? You're coming to rest with your friends very soon. They're all down there." And the crab looked and saw only a large rock covered in bones. And now he knew what the heron had been doing, and now the heron was plummeting down towards the rock, and the crab could see his death was imminent, and he swung forwards, off in between the shoulder blades, around onto the heron's neck, and gripped tight with his claws and began to squeeze and squeeze. "No, you don't. Not me, you greedy thing. You're killing us all." And snap! The heron landed on the rock at the time the crab's claws finally clipped through his throat and ricocheted back up onto the back of the heron, taking up the impact as the heron hit the rock and died. It was a long crawl, scuttle walk for the crab back from that rock. Slowly but surely he made his way through the forest following a sense of direction back to the pond. It took a week. And when he got there, the fish said, "Why are you back? What about the other lake? Where is the heron? We've been waiting. We're so worried about the humans coming." The crab said, "I do not think the humans are coming. The heron was lying. The heron was consuming us all. There was no other lake." And so time passed again on that lovely little lake up in the forest. Gradually, the population recovered, the ecosystem replenished. It's still there now, if you know where to look. And none in that small community eat or use outside of their means. Thank you for listening. Please join us again next month for Colin telling us a story about some ants, I believe. Thank you.